to the OMG hour.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 325 of the OMG Hour. And this week, we decided we're going to be your outspoken, magnanimous gaslighters. And, of course, I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I am Tico, Mr. Second Place.
Tico, you didn't do your thing.
I know. I didn't know if it was going to work, so I had to look.
Oh, you totally should have worked. Totally. Next time. We'll do it. We'll save it.
All right, we'll save it. We'll put some more pre-production into it.
That's right, excellent. Explosions and CGI, all that stuff. We'll get it all, because that's what this show is all about. It's all about the graphics.
Is it?
Well, no, considering we literally have none this week.
We have no. Well, this is the problem. Slow week.
Well, in some cases, yes. In other cases, no. It was a slow week for you and I in the fact that we didn't play any games. I didn't play any video games, and I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why I didn't play any video games.
I want to know this story.
Yeah. Well, here's the story, Tico. You see, we did this thing last weekend called Flipping Tables with the OMG Hour.
Yes.
This is our new tabletop Let's Plays.
Yes.
And it took me until last night. So we recorded this Sunday night, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with yes.
Yes. And it took me until last night. We're recording this Friday morning. Good Friday. Happy Easter, everybody, if you celebrate that. And before I continue, happy birthday to my youngest daughter, Sydney. She turns 19 today.
Wow.
It's her champagne birthday. She turns 19 on the 19th. So anyway, Sunday night we recorded. It took me every single night until last night to get that video done and up onto YouTube.
Well, just be faster, Sean.
It was this thing was a 34-minute complete video, and it took me 12 to 15 hours to get through this thing. No, more than that. Because
all I could say
we had issues with the video. That took, for some reason, 10 hours to render one of the videos. I think one of the recording devices we had recorded in super high 4K video or something. I can't.
It's like 12K. It's stuff that hasn't even been invented yet. Yeah, that's how high quality it was.
I know, and it was just ridiculous. Once I got through all that, then it was like a good 6 or 7 hours I spent putting that thing together. Because, let me tell you, video editing is not a quick thing. It is a time-consuming activity.
I will say this, having, my portion of it is easy. I sit in front of the camera and beat you at the game. That's half.
And
that's all I have to do. So my part's really easy.
Except that's not a half. That's sort of like
my portion, which is like 1% of the total thing, is doing that. So from that part that I do, I watched the video last night, and it was the first time for me to see the whole thing put together. And I have to say, for what two guys who just enjoy playing games and stuff doing, and the quality that you've put into putting that together, it looks fantastic.
Thank you. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I had fun doing it. Yeah. It is, yes, video editing and creation is a time-consuming task, but I had fun putting it together.
It shows in the final product, and I hope that people who are watching this check that out as well. We had a lot of fun, recording it, and the effort that you put into putting that together. It's not just like, oh, here, watch us play and on video. Like, we've got 2 camera setups, we've got segments and cutaways, and you took the time to scan.
I scanned all the cards
from the game in, so you can actually have those show up there as a separate thing. So I do hope people check that out, because it is really well done, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these as well.
And that's only our first one.
That's only our first one. Right. We did actually play a couple of games, and so you've got another 12 hours.
What I mean is that's only like the first in hopefully a series of videos.
Yes.
Which means it's hopefully only going to get better. So let's see. That was
It can't get worse. That's our new slogan. It
it
can't get worse.
it could get worse because
I think that might be
just
Trump's 2020 campaign slogan too.
it can get worse. So anyway, check out Flipping Tables. Last night we did a game called Newfoundland Jam. We talked about it last week, and that's the one we did as our first one. So, Tico, I'll get this game back to you tomorrow.
Yes, I'll see you tomorrow when we play some more games.
We're going to play more games, but I don't think we're going to film those ones, so...
Well, then I think the games are going to play tomorrow. We may film eventually, but the whole idea...
Maybe we can live stream them.
We can probably live stream some of them, but I think what we want to do too is before we're doing a proper review, get a couple of games under our belt for it too, so we don't spend the entire time.
My belt is tight enough. I don't need anything else under my belt.
So I'm just saying we don't want the entire Let's Play video as us reviewing the rule book.
Why not?
Maybe it'll be like one of those Masterpiece Theaters things where like we'll just sit back in our robes just reading the rule book.
Maybe that's a new thing. Maybe it's like, today on reading the rule book.
Yeah, we'll just do like that, smoking jacket and
exactly.
fancy chairs, and we'll just read rule books.
We just read the rule book. That'll be our thing. Reading the rule book with the OMG Hour. Excellent. All right. Well, let's talk about some other rule book reading that we didn't do. You played some more Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster, I see.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've played this week. I'm enjoying it. It looks really good. Like, it does not feel...
Have you started Liberation yet?
No, because I started it just to see that it would start because it's in the same menu. I haven't actually played it, and oddly enough, I've never played Liberation.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, have you ever played it? Because it's a good game, and it actually adds a few extra things in it that are not in other games. Like she can change her outfits depending on what she's trying to do.
Okay.
Right, so she can dress like a servant, for example, and get into where servants they get through.
Little hitman action.
Yeah, basically, that kind of thing for sure.
I'm going to play it, but I was going to do that. I'm like, I don't want to have both of them on the go at the same time, so I'm going to finish 3 first, which I think about halfway through the story. I mean, there's all the little things and stuff like that. But I'm halfway through the first, which right now.
Sorry, I just had you talking over yourself. By accident. Sorry about that.
That's weird. I don't know how that can even happen.
Well, I need to bring up the comments on the live chat, and I had you accidentally playing over top of yourself. So my apologies.
Well, I'll allow it.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm going to play Liberation. That's probably a next week task. Once I finish 3, there's not a ton out in the next little bit, so it's one of those backlog months, I think.
Yeah. So Brian is watching us right now, and he said that we tricked him because we're broadcasting while he's at work. Wait, why are you at work? I guess you work in a hospital. I guess that's why you're there. It's Good Friday, isn't it a holiday?
Yeah, but I mean, people still get sick.
No, I know, but wouldn't some of the hospital staff still get it as a holiday if you're not in like critical? I don't know. Maybe he's in a critical.
Maybe Brian I don't know. Doesn't know that it's Good Friday.
Maybe Brian is the top doctor at the hospital.
Dr. Brian.
Dr. Brian. Anyway, okay. So what else are we talking about today? This week, there was some amazing news about the PlayStation 5. So Sony has started to talk about the PlayStation 5.
Yep.
And I thought I had the Wired article in here. Yeah, I do. So Wired has an amazing article. Some people had the opportunity to sit down with Mark Cerny, who is the architect. He was the architect behind the PlayStation 4. Sounds like he's also the architect behind the PlayStation 5 as well. And I was reading through this article, Tico, and I got to tell you, I was getting almost giddy with excitement just listening to the specs of the hardware. I mean, obviously it's going to be better hardware. Yeah. It's a next gen system, but it wasn't really the hardware that got me excited. It was where they're going with it and the improvements to it. I've said in the past, where do we go from here? Remember me asking, graphically, I mean, games look real now. They look gorgeous.
We're at that stage where you're not going to be able to improve it
Right. And I'm wondering, well, where do you go from there? I honestly didn't know. Like, I was honestly asking, where can we go from here? And this article talks about where we can go from here. And I was like, I never even thought of that. And it's absolutely amazing. So going through the actual hardware itself, basically, PlayStation's next generation console ticks all those boxes for, what you want. The CPU is based on the third generation of AMD's Ryzen line, contains 8 cores of the company's new 7nm Zen 2 microarchitecture, and I'm sure all of that means everything to everybody listening.
I remember, the first time I heard about Zen 2, whatever you said.
Right. The GPU is going to be a custom variant of Radeon's Navi family. It's going to support ray tracing. Now, this is huge, because ray tracing is something that the high-end computers CGI do, like in the movies. All right, and what ray tracing does, it actually traces the way light would refract into and off of objects, so it can properly create bouncing light, essentially. Reflections in a mirror, reflections in water, reflections in windows, the way light bounces off, say, like Iron Man, for example, the way the sun would bounce off of his armor or his shield. That's what ray tracing is. It is a technique that models the travel of light to simulate complex interactions in 3D environments. Right? While ray tracing is a staple of Hollywood visual effects and is beginning to worm its way into high-end processors, and NVIDIA's recently announced RTX line, no game console has been able to manage it yet. So they're going to have ray tracing in the next PlayStation. And this is what I was explaining just now. Ray tracing's immediate benefits are largely visual, because it mimics the way light bounces from object to object in a scene. Reflective surfaces and refractions through glass or liquid can be rendered much more accurately, even in real time, leading to heightened realism. Now, here's the cool thing about it. That's great. Again, that's visual. I've said it before. Where do we go? Everything visually already looks stunning. Okay, so adding ray tracing in real-time ray tracing is going to be pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
But ray tracing isn't just for light. They're also applying ray tracing to sound. So think about that. You know how if you're, say, behind a wall around the corner and you hear sound, you actually hear it from behind you around the corner, and it's muffled.
And muffled because it's got to go through, yeah.
They're working on doing that kind of ray tracing with sound. So when you're in a game, you get that surround environment, that
immersive effect.
That immersive effect that you actually hear sound muffled because of distance and objects between you.
So what they're trying to do is set it up so people playing the next Resident Evil really do pee their pants.
Exactly, because you hear them coming. Exactly. And that, to me, is like, that almost blew my mind thinking about it, because I never thought of that. I never thought about sound in a video game and how you could improve sound to make it much more immersive.
Well, even imagine if they add that sort of thing into, like, movies that you're watching on the PlayStation as well.
To movies?
Like, imagine you get that same sound effect when watching a movie or something as well.
Well, you do get that, right? Because they've already done all that in the movie.
But I want it to feel different. I don't know.
The other big thing, too, is they are working on a new architecture for, specific to the PlayStation 5, for solid-state drives. Like, for the hard... So, one game changer, as Mark Cerny says it, is it will still have a hard drive. It's not going to be a streaming-only model. Right? Yeah. Because we know that's where Microsoft's moving. They want to go streaming only. What PlayStation is doing, they're going to keep the hard drive, but there's the difference. That's going to be a game changer, as Mark Cerny says. The SSD hard drive. While SSDs typically make things faster because it's solid state, there's no moving parts. They've architected it so it's actually faster than, say, an SSD I'd have in my computer here, because they're architecting it so it's part of the system, right? So all of the information flows in a much more optimized manner. And they did an example of what this means. So they took Spider-Man for the PS4 and they played it in a PS4.
Yeah.
And they did a fast travel from point A to point B in the city. and the fast travel loading screen was 15 seconds. Not bad.
Unacceptable.
Not
I don't
bad.
have that kind. I don't
Right?
have that kind of time.
Who
on
has
my
that
hands.
kind of time? 15 seconds. So 15-second load time. That's from a disc, right?
Yeah.
They did the same thing on the PlayStation 5 prototype. Or actually, it's a dev unit, because the dev units are actually out there right now. So the companies, game developers have the PlayStation 5
They're working with
hardware
it
already. They're already working with it. They did the same game in the PlayStation 5 on an SSD. That exact same fast travel took less than 1 second. 0.8 seconds. That is a huge difference. Imagine now. This isn't just for loading things. Imagine what this means for gameplay. And Mark Cerny was explaining this. So, take Spider-Man for example. You're swinging through the city as fast as you can. That's as fast as you can go through the city physically.
Because it can only render that quickly.
It can only render the city that quickly. Now imagine taking that 15 or 20 times faster processing, and loading, and apply it to game. He showed the same city, but they flew through. They made the camera fly through the city at like supersonic speeds, and the city loaded instantly around him, going through that as fast as they could. And he even proved it by pausing the screen, and instantly the city was there all around them. It wasn't just loading because he paused it. It was loading that quickly off of that SSD. I mean, that's huge when it comes to games. Imagine a game being able to render the entire world in split seconds.
So this is going to be a problem, though. I mean, I'm used to like when a cutscene and these things start up, like the loading screens start up, you have time to go make a sandwich, use the washroom. Like, I'm going to be stuck playing a game the entire time now. I'm not going to have that break.
You won't have any breaks. No breaks for you.
I won't have that break I'm used to.
No breaks for you. I mean, to me, as I was reading through this, I was genuinely excited. Genuinely.
And we're guessing what, next November, 2020 November?
I'm expecting Christmas 2020. It won't be out this year. They've already said that. So that's a lot of it. Really, for me personally, it was the SSD, right? The solid state drive. The speed at which it's going to load the games is that is a game changer. Like, imagine a game that has no loading time. None. You know, or if it is a loading time, it's like it's a split second. The screen goes blank and it comes back, and then you're there. I mean, that to me is amazing. Everyone knows a quick travel, you're going to sit back and you're going to wait 15, 20 seconds for it to load. Right? Everyone expects that. No one expects to go fast travel, boom, there you are. Continue your game. It's like, whoa!
I guarantee you there's going to be, when this first comes out, there's going to be people complaining that they died because it popped them into a new area too quickly, and they weren't prepared to react to what was in that room.
You're absolutely right. Brian says, yes, no elevator rides. Exactly. This gets rid of elevators. No elevator music in games anymore.
I think the elevator, industry is going to put a kibosh on this. I think that they're going to...
That's right.
Like they're used to all this free marketing in, having these elevators in like stuff like Mass Effect where you have to go up and down levels. Like they're used to all that. The elevator control board is just gonna.
They're not going to enjoy that very much at all.
Nope.
So that's the PlayStation 5. I am like, honestly, the one thing they didn't say in here is how many of those super flip flops, whatever it's called, do they have here?
Teraflops.
The teraflops. That's right.
They're called.
Super flip flops sounds better.
It does sound better.
Actually, Super Flip Flop sounds like something you'd play on the Super Nintendo.
It does.
Yeah, that's right. But no, honestly, that excites me for the next gen consoles, because I honestly sat back and thought, I don't know what the next gen console could bring. I mean, I'm not in the hardware business, but that excites me. The hardware they're working on for speeding up games, for ray tracing, not just light, but sound ray tracing. Imagine even in VR, using ray tracing in VR, where you actually hear the sound all the way around you from the direction it came from, muffled because of objects in your way. Not just for VR, but for any kind of game. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, and that will, that's eventually going to be a component of gameplay in some of these games,
absolutely.
too, where you have to be paying attention and listening and really immersing yourself in the game.
Well, that's going to be, I think, honestly, a game changer for the online FPSs. The arenas. I can't think of the name right now.
Battle Royale?
The Battle Royales, thank you. Even for the Battle Royale games, imagine hearing the footsteps.
Well, they've already got that, but it's not like you can hear footsteps when somebody you can have that if you have the headset. You can hear footsteps behind you. Like Halo introduced that.
That's right.
A number of years back. But being able to tell okay, that's muffled. The guy is 12 paces to my left, and then just
and that's the difference. So yes, they have had directional sound before. But ultimately, that's all it was directional sound. This is actual location-based sound.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to come from a location. It's going to be muffled. It's going to get louder as it gets towards you. Right? As it comes out into an open around a corner, you're going to hear that difference. Right? And that's going to be in real time. Like the CPU, the GPU, well, not GPU, but the CPU is going to take care of that. I guess the audio CPU, whatever they call that, that's going to actually take care of that volume difference, the directionality and the volume difference. It'll all be done in real time. It won't actually have to be programmed by, the developers.
I am looking forward to the first horror game that they put into this thing.
Oh man, of course you are.
Except
you won't play it.
Of course I will.
No, because it's a PlayStation.
I'll come over to your house and play. I have a PlayStation. It's over there.
Yeah,
I'll come over to your house and play it.
How dusty is it?
It's no. I dust everything, every couple of days.
Okay.
No, I'll come over to your. I'm going to come over to your house to play it because then, when I pee, it'll be on your couch.
Oh, good. Remind me to put the plastic down.
Just flip the cushion. It's fine.
That's great. So we got a couple articles. It'll be in our show notes right below this video, or in the podcast. We'll have a link to those two articles. But definitely read the Wired article because that goes into much more detail. All of the other articles out there that talk about this all reference the Wired article. So really, that's the one you go to. Just read the Wired article. You'll get everything everyone else is saying anyway. Xbox. So let's move from... I'll give Xbox some time here today. A little bit.
Well, it's not much. They've, they're taking that next step towards
the all-inclusive stuff.
So they've merged their Game Pass subscription and their Xbox Live subscription. So you no longer have to get two different subscriptions. It's just a one.
Yeah, which is a good idea. It's $15 a month. Gives you both Xbox Live or Xbox Gold plus Xbox Game Pass. It is what do they call it? The Game Pass Ultimate.
Game Pass Ultimate.
This is not a must. This is an option. So you can still get just an Xbox Gold or you can get just Game Pass. But if you're paying for both,
and it's a reduced rate going this route as well. I think it's a little bit cheaper. Is it not? You're paying $9.90. It's $9.99 for Game Pass, and then
it's $9.99 for Game Pass, $9.99 for Gold if you're paying monthly. But how much if you pay annually? Isn't it still $60?
It's $60, I believe, for Gold for the year.
So this is the same price if you pay for Gold yearly or annually. Yeah. Right. So you're still going to pay essentially $5 a month for Gold, plus $10 a month for Game Pass. So you put them together, you're paying. It's the same. You're not saving anything with the Ultimate Bundle if you're paying annually.
Yeah, it's still cheaper than Netflix.
That is true. It is still cheaper than Netflix. That is a good point there, Tico. That is absolutely true. I still don't have it because I obviously didn't listen to you last week when you said go get it for $1.
I think it's still on for $1. They've got some great deals for people who are not currently subscribing. You can go on and get it. I think it was 3 months for $1 or something, or 3 months for $3. Worth checking out. They just added the
Monster Hunter.
Walking Dead New Frontier and Monster Hunter just came up on it today.
Yeah,
which is a massive game. And for that, that you can get 3 months played just out of that one game for $3.
For $3. Well, I don't know. It's such a weird thing for me. I bought a few games on Xbox so that we could play together, and then and I've been playing on Xbox for a while now, but for some reason I'm like, oh man, I miss my PS4.
Separation anxiety.
It's like it feels like a separation anxiety. It's like, oh man, where's my PS4? It's okay. I have to go pet it every now and again. Make sure it's.
You got to make sure it feels not neglected.
Exactly. And speaking of not neglecting things, of course, the big terrible thing happened this week with Notre Dame.
Cathedral.
Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Of course, we all know about the fire. Now, so many people are coming to aid it. A lot of millionaires or billionaires
are putting some money towards
to it, and that includes Ubisoft. Our beloved Ubisoft is donating $500,000, I believe, US, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it might be pounds. 500,000 pounds, actually.
I thought it was dollars, but anyway, it doesn't matter. They wrote a note. It's euros. You're right.
Yeah.
Not pounds, but euros.
Euros. That's right. They have euros now.
So, in light of Monday's events, we will be donating 500,000 euros to help with the restoration and reconstruction of the cathedral. And also for 1 week, and that includes today, I believe it's going to go for the next, I don't think it started Wednesday.
Yeah, 15th to the 23rd, I believe.
Right, 15th to the 23rd. They're giving away on PC on Uplay Assassin's Creed Unity for free. Of course, Unity is the one that takes place in Paris, and they have an amazing recreation of the cathedral in the game, inside and out. As I was watching the fire burn live on the news, and they were showing different angles, all I could think of was I climbed that building. Yeah. I climbed that building, right?
Yeah, and it's just amazing how well they recreate it, to the point that there's reports saying that they actually may use the recreation, the game, in order to help with the recreation when they're with rebuilding. They're going to take this. It's like, okay, that's what it looked like. It's done in such detail that they can use that to help rebuild.
Yeah, as a reference point for sure. Yeah. Even though, when did Unity take place? 18 something. It's a couple hundred years. But still. The cathedral itself, they started building the cathedral in something like 1153, and it wasn't finished until 13 something. It took 200 years to build the cathedral. Yeah. The cathedral itself is over 800 years old. That's pretty amazing that it's still standing. But I'm watching the fire, and I got to be honest. Sure, all the scaffolding was on fire because they were doing some restorations. Yeah, I still don't know if they know what caused the fire. But if you look at it,
renovations of some sort, like something in the renovations was what.
So basically, something on the scaffolding, by the sounds of it, caught fire, and of course the scaffolding goes up. It's all wood.
Yeah,
and the roof is wood. But I'm thinking to myself, the actual structure is 800 years old. It's made of stone. No fire is going to burn down the structure.
Yeah, it's right? The worries are the things that could have gotten damaged, which weren't, where the stained glass windows.
Yes, the big, huge, round stained glass window you see at the front of the cathedral was untouched. Amazing. Yeah,
and this is not just untouched by the fire, but also by debris falling and everything that. That's right. It was, very fortunate that nothing happened to this piece of history.
And there's a lot of stuff even inside that was untouched. I saw a video of someone walking through the wreckage. I wouldn't call it wreckage per se. Walking through the afterwards, you could hear walking through water. Obviously, the place is soaked. Yeah. But there was so much still standing, untouched. there's a lot of debris on the ground. Obviously, where the roof fell in, where the steeple fell in, or the whatever they call it, the spire. The spire fell in. And I watched the spire fall. That was wow. But Assassin's Creed Unity. All I could think was everything around is everything looks so familiar. I've been to Notre Dame in real life. I've been there back in '89. I visited it with. I went to Holland to visit a friend for a month, and during my month there, we went to Paris for 3 or 4 days. So I've been in it. I've been there. I haven't climbed it quite like Arno would climb it.
Well, you might be able to now if they're going to use, Assassin's Creed for recreating. It's like, oh, look, there's a whole bunch of footholds here now.
Yeah, exactly, right? But yeah, I mean, it is amazing. It really reminded me of how detailed Ubisoft is when they create these worlds.
Yeah.
Because some of those angles was like they showed buildings there. And I'm like, those buildings look really familiar, because I just played it in Unity a couple of years ago, and I remember climbing those buildings and walking around the cathedral and then climbing the cathedral itself, So I can absolutely understand how they could use the game, like use a video game to help with reconstruction because of the detail in that creation. It's absolutely amazing that what they've done there. So yeah, good on Ubisoft, good on everybody who's supporting it. Although I do find it strange that the U.S. government is also donating to it, and yet they can't fix the Flint, Michigan water. But let's not get into politics here. I just find it strange.
Puerto Rico and a number of other things where U.S. is not putting money towards it. And this is Trump basically trying to play to the public at this point. But that's politics. We don't do that here.
We don't do that here. But I do find that odd that's happening. It's great they want to help with the cathedral. But people I think are more important than a building.
Buildings. Yeah.
That is pretty much all of the news this week for gaming. I think obviously for me the most exciting thing is just understanding where gaming can go with all those revelations with PlayStation 5. That's exciting, and I can't wait to see that stuff in action, That's exciting. I'll see where it goes, and probably at this point I think maybe Horizon Zero Dawn 2 will be out on the new system. They're talking about Death Stranding. Death Stranding may be a next-gen system at this point. Which
that was always probably going to be the case.
Probably the case.
It could be a next-gen system, the way they keep delaying that thing.
Well, a lot of the games we already know of today may be one of those like line-straddling games where there's a version for both systems. Right, there's a PS4 and a PS5 version, much like we had with The Last of Us 2 is probably the same. Last of Us was exactly the same thing. Last of Us came out on PS3, and then PS4 launched, and they came out with the definitive edition like months later, because that's the way it was meant to be played.
Yeah,
The Last of Us 2 may be in the same boat. It may come out.
Anything that's going to be, depending on release, if anything that's straddling that line.
Yeah, anything that comes out this year, I think will have a definitive edition next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's a given, and you'll be totally into the definitive editions, remasters.
If it says definitive or remastered or any of that stuff, I have to play it. It's ingrained in my DNA.
Good. Juggler V says it was an electrical fire near the spire. I didn't see that note until now, Ryan. So that's what started the fire at Notre Dame. All right, let's move on. We're going to do Geek Fight again, Super Geek Fight.
Yes.
So I've pre-shuffled. I'll give it another little shuffle here, though. But this time I made sure it was shuffled. I'm hoping I'm not going to get some real-world scientist again.
Did you pull all the science out? And I will point out, Glenn did look it up and found zero
pictures of Neil deGrasse Tyson
on a boat. Does not count. That was not one of the scenario. It was not one of the things that he had. So you lost last week. So you are 0-2.
Yeah, obviously, of course. All right. Well,
I mean, if you stop pulling scientists, you'll have a better shot.
Well, I'm going to pull this top card today. I have to pick a Lannister. Okay, well, this is going to be difficult. I've only seen season 1 of Game of Thrones. This is very timely.
That actually works out well because you can pick any of them that are alive still in season 1.
I don't know the Lannisters.
All right, you got.
Can I pick another one? I don't.
All right, yeah, because it's going to make your arguing points
I can't argue characters I don't know yet. All right, what's this one?
No, you pick another one.
I can't pick. Why is Bill Nye always coming to the top? I'm not picking Bill Nye again.
All right.
How about 500 corgi-sized AT-ATs?
All right.
Wow. 500 corgi-sized AT-AT walkers.
All right.
Now, corgis are small.
Yes. But there's 500 of them. And then I have drawn a Goblin King.
Okay, so
Goblin King.
Yes, that's okay. They're huge. Have you seen the Goblin King in the
Hobbit? Yeah, like they're big fat guys.
Big fat guys.
Yeah.
Surrounded by 500 corgi-sized AT-ATs. I like my odds so far.
I mean, it depends. I mean, these guys, he could fall over and crush, like, 100 of them pretty easily.
My corgis are clever girls.
Oh, so coordinated attacks.
That's right. Clever girls.
Right.
Clever
My
girls.
Goblin King. Oh, no. My Goblin King took an arrow to the knee.
Oh, of course he did. Of course he did.
He's now hobbled. Hopefully you can help him out a little bit with something.
All right, I will give you a modifier. Your modifier for your Goblin King is armed with the Triforce of your choice, either wisdom, power, or courage.
I'm going to go with power.
Oh,
because...
all right, you're going with power.
Yes.
What is my extra modifier?
Your extra ability. Oh no.
I am armed with a gravity gun. Oh, this does not bode well. Does this mean all 500 of them have gravity guns?
Well, I would imagine it's like an attachment on the AT-AT now.
Right? They've 500 gravity guns, and they're clever girls.
Yeah, and these corgis are small, but they're not that small. Like if you were in a room with 500 corgis, you would feel a little intimidated, I think.
Yeah,
like it's not like we're talking like mouse-sized things or anything. Corgis are small-ish.
Okay, well, let's find out where we're fighting.
All right, hopefully this is somewhere like in water or something.
We're fighting in the Temple of Doom.
All right.
That fits with your Goblin King.
It does.
All right. But our modifier for this fight is going to be...
underwater, come on.
All fighters are at 1 hit point. Oh, dude.
Ooh.
Dude, that gives me 500 hit points to your 1. You don't stand a freaking chance.
Unless I have some sort of massive area of attack spell.
You took an arrow to the knee.
That already
that already takes you out. You're gone. You're already on the ground. And my corgis are even lifting you up with a 500 gravity. You don't have a chance with this one.
No, I will give this to you. I have no shot. I mean, the arrow to the knee takes out my 1 hit point.
Oh man, the cards were in my favor this week.
I should have made you stick with the Lannister.
I can't. Listen. I'm gonna start watching Game of Thrones now that it's ending. I might as well start watching, right?
May as well. Yeah, it's like one. Now you have a book-ended show to watch.
Exactly. Now, by the time I get to season 9 or whatever it is now, or season is it 9 or 8? I don't know.
8.
Once I get to season 8, it'll be done and I'll finish it. So no cliffhangers for me.
Yeah. So everybody avoid spoilers for Sean for the next year or so.
Oh, dude, it's been 20, what's it been already? 7 years? It started in 2012, and it's been
more than that because you're not getting a full a season every year like this. It's been I think a year and a half since the last season.
Right, but it started in 2012 is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The show started in 2012.
Yes. So
I've already survived this long. Heck, I survived Walking Dead that long and got caught up without any major spoilers. So I'm good. As long as literally someone doesn't say, hey, by the way, all these people, here's the list of dead characters. As long as I don't see that list, then I'm good.
Well, I mean, eventually you'll hear of some of the people that have died.
And speaking
let me just tell you this. If you watch the first season...
Yeah. Sean Bean always dies.
Well, Sean Bean always dies. I mean, George R. R. Martin does not care if you like characters or not.
Fair.
If he were involved with the Walking Dead, Daryl would have died in episode 2.
Oh yeah,
That's how this guy treats his characters.
That's right. No, I get that. I get that.
Guy, they're gone. So don't get attached to anybody.
Don't get attached to any characters. What if I'm already attached to a couple characters that I liked in season 1?
Who did you like?
The redheaded, is it Sansa?
Sansa? Yeah.
Yeah. And her sister, the one the little sister that goes off. Arya. Yeah, Arya.
Yes. Yeah, the Marvel girls. Dark Phoenix.
Oh yes.
Arya's in
right.
the
Sansa is Phoenix, isn't she?
Yeah.
Right.
Sophie Turner and then Macy Williams is in the New Mutants movie as well.
That's right. And Macy Williams was also on Doctor Who.
She was.
All right. let's move on. We've got just a few things to talk
The television.
about the televisions and the movies and stuff. There was something I was going to say. Oh yeah, before we move on to that, actually, it's still television talk. But did you see the Sesame Street HBO mashups just recently about
No.
about respect? It's just like 2-3 minute clips. There is a Game of Thrones, right? So you have Cersei, I think is her name, and
Yep.
and the
Sarah Connor.
yeah, Sarah Connor at Cersei and Tyrion.
Tyrion. Yeah,
The
he's
short,
a Lannister, by the way.
They're
Both Lannisters.
you see the short one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
Peter
so
Dinklage,
see,
yeah.
I know names. I just don't know the show. So you got Tyrion and Cersei at a table, and they're arguing as they do. And then who comes up at the other side of the table, dressed in armor, is Elmo. And Elmo tells them that they should listen to each other, and if they give respect, they'll get respect. And they should listen to what the other has to say and understand that it's so cool. And then there's another one for Westworld.
Nice. And then Big Bird dies.
And then Big Bird gets head chopped off. No, but it's actually hilarious. In fact, I think the Westworld one is funnier.
Yeah.
But they're they're so well done. They look like they're in the show. Basically, imagine Sesame Street suddenly popping up in Game of Thrones. Like, it's hilarious.
Right. I will check those out because those sound entertaining.
They are actually they're only a couple of minutes long. They're on the YouTubes. Go check them out. It's a lot of fun. I really like. I mean, having seen Westworld, it was with Bernard and I can't remember her name. The main character, the woman, can't remember her name. But they're talking in their little room where they always talk, and then Cookie Monster comes up. And talks to them about respect and how respect is like sharing a cookie. You know, it's just watch it. I think it's hilarious, especially the ending of the Westworld one is so funny.
All right,
because they go totally out of character too.
Yeah.
So before the show, I started watching the finale, the season 2 finale of Star Trek Voyager Discovery.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it is. I was on the edge of my seat, and then you texted me and said, "I'm ready to go now." I'm like, "Oh crap, I got to do the show."
I didn't say I'm ready. I said I'm ready whenever you are. So you had the option of finishing your episode.
I did, but I noticed it was like it's an hour and 5 minute episode. It's a long episode, and I was only 20 minutes in. So, but I love where this season went. I love where it's going. I have a feeling, and I won't know until I'm finished. I'm not going to spoil anyway. I have a feeling they are setting up something major for season 3. Like, I'm talking, I feel like they're dedicated to going somewhere with the show and they're going to stick to the landing. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to totally change everything. And I feel like it feels like they're going here. They're going to do something major at the end and they're going to stick to it. And I love when shows do that. You know, we had, do you remember... Oh, I just had it in my head. My brain is not working today, Tico.
That's because we're doing early. Your brain hasn't had a full time to run a full reboot cycle.
Eureka. Do you remember?
Yes.
Remember the show Eureka? And like season 3, at the end of season 3, they did a time travel episode, and then they changed a bunch of stuff in the past. And when they came back, everything was changed.
Yeah.
And they kept it that way.
Yeah, they didn't. They
never fixed it.
Yeah, they're. It's not like one of these things where like, oh no, we've changed everything, and by the end of the episode, everything was completely back to normal.
No, the show continued on for 2 more seasons, with those changes in effect, and I love when a show is brave enough to do that.
Yeah, it's like a complete change in direction.
Yeah, I feel like Discovery is heading there. Now, I'm on the last episode. I've got a good 40 minutes left to watch, but I feel like that's where it's going. I feel like it's going into this major shift, and they're gonna go with it, and I'm excited for that shift if it's going where I think it's going. I'll report back next week if it went where I thought it was going. I'll let you know, but I will not tell you.
You know what? Maybe I'll watch some of this show.
Oh, dude,
This, you think this Star Trek thing is going to pick up? You think people are interested in it? Star Trek.
It's a new IP, so who knows?
Yeah, I'll maybe check it out.
Oh,
And
Dorothy and I watch Roswell, New Mexico, which is, I think I mentioned a while back. It's a remake of Roswell from back in the 90s. Really well done. It's their own story. They're not remaking the original story at all. It is its own thing, which is great. They're not just retelling the same story. It's a completely new story. But there was one character in it who says something about, can't you use your Jedi tricks on that or something? And it says, like, that's not how Jedis work. He says, I don't know. I don't watch Star Trek. It's like, oh! And Dorothy turns to me. She says, come on. Even I know that.
yeah, well, those are like those shirts where it's like, the quote, maybe the Force be with you, Abraham Lincoln.
Exactly. Yeah, no, or Dumbledore or something, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Star Trek Discovery. If you have not started season 2, absolutely, like, pick up on season 2 if you haven't watched any of it. It is amazing.
I'm like only 2 episodes into season 1, so.
Well, finish season 1 if you've started, because you get a little bit of backstory on characters, but it's not fully required for season 2.
It is for my mental state.
Oh, I'm with you. Absolutely. I agree.
Watch season 2 and then go, I like not knowing what I didn't know about season 1. So I have to finish season 1 first. But maybe I can do a binge. I'll do a binge through at some point. And
season 1 is hard to watch for the first half, and then the second half is quite good. But season 2 was like, boom, right from the get-go. It has been non-stop exciting and like really well done.
All right.
Dorothy and I watched a movie this week with the Get Off My Lawn guy, Clint Eastwood.
Oh, that Get Off! I'm like, why was my neighbor in one of your movies?
Called The Mule, directed and starred Clint Eastwood. It is a story of an elderly gentleman who
it would have to be if it's Clint Eastwood,
right. He plays, like, I don't know if this is really him walking so slow or if he's just still a really good actor where he can play an old frail man really well. Whether or not he's actually old and frail, the way he portrayed him, I don't know. But, it was an interesting film. Like, I didn't find it boring, but I also didn't find it exciting. Like, it didn't go where I thought it was going to be. It's about an elderly gentleman who basically becomes a mule for the drug cartel. Driving packages from one place to another. And Bradley Cooper is in it, who is an FBI agent trying to bring down the cartel. But the movie, it seemed like it was going to be a little more exciting than it actually was.
A little dry.
But I didn't find it boring, if you know what I mean.
So, yeah, I know, like, you're expecting some sort of action or something like that at some point.
And it never comes.
The type of movie, it's like, okay, this is like a DEA, you're expecting a raid at some point.
Exactly.
Some sort of tension to, ratchet up, and then that the release of tension never comes.
It never happens. Although the movie, let's put it this way. I enjoyed watching it, but when we were done, I turned to Dorothy and I said, I feel like there was no point to that movie. Like, it just felt like it didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although it's sort of, but like I said, it's strange because I don't know. I wasn't bored watching it. I just felt at the end, I felt like it was, you kind of wasted my time because you didn't kind of give me that excitement I was expecting. It's hard to explain. It might be worth, it's a bit of a chill movie, I guess you could call it, but well acted, well done, but not what I expected. Especially when you're talking drug cartels, you expect a little bit of action, right?
If you want something with some action, I actually watched a movie, I'm not. It's an old movie, 1987, a movie called Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Okay.
It is absolutely terrible.
Great.
In the most amazing ways. So
okay.
It's one of those, like, it's so bad you have to watch it.
Like The Room.
Yeah, I mean, it's along those lines, just horrible acting. I believe it's a little more self-aware
than The Room.
The Room.
The Room actually thought it was good.
I think that The Room, I think that he thought he was making like some sort of a masterpiece, and it turned out to be this hilarious thing. Whereas this is back in the 80s, they like all of these cheap like Miami Vice ripoff type things where they get like B movie actors and like, the blonde bimbos with big breasts to, take their tops off and stuff like that. It's one of those type of action movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it just absolutely ridiculous scenarios. We watched it. It was funny. It's just a bad movie that's fun to watch.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Yeah.
What does that name even mean?
Well, if you want to go to Hawaii, like there's like the easy ticket, which is like a plane or something like that. And then you've got I don't know. It doesn't make sense. There's a song though. They do have a song. There's actually two songs. There's in the movie. There's in the soundtrack. There's Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which is the opening credit theme, and then the end credit theme, which is called Hard Ticket, and it's two separate songs. Which I always find I'm always entertained when they make a song with the name of the movie in it. It is horribly acted. Terrible CG on the snake. Well, here to give you an idea,
snake.
There's a snake in the movie. Hang on, I'm going to read you the metadata description of the movie, and I'm going to read this to you word for word because it is. And I just have to wait for this to load for a second. So.
Oh, this is good radio right here.
It is. Hey, listen, I said for a second. I'm still talking as we do it. So.
Great.
All right. So here it is. The metadata description is: a man with a bazooka helps defend air freighters Donna and Taryn against drug dealers and a snake.
And a snake.
And a snake.
All right. Okay. So it's snakes on a boat?
No, the snake's on an island.
Just a snake. It must be this massive snake then.
Listen.
Is it Okay.
Watch the movie, Sean.
Okay.
Just watch the movie. There is nudity. I will warn you of that. It's like 80s. It's 80s like B-movie nudity. So if there's any excuse for one of these women to take their top off, they do.
Great. That's okay.
At one point they discover a cache of stolen diamonds,
and they take their shirts off.
And in order, they find them and they get them back to this. It's like, all right, we have to take take a look at these things. And so they go to the hot tub and take off their tops and then start looking through the diamonds.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. This is a legit scene in the movie. This is exactly how they decide to look at the diamonds that they've just found.
Oh my gosh.
So
you're making me cry from laughter.
It is. Like, there's one of the lines from the movie Shannon has decided she's going to use at some point. Like the main bad guy, who's like, the cheesy Colombian drug lord guy, tells one of his henchmen, if brains were bird shit, your cage would be clean. So that is the level of movie that we're talking about here.
Oh, okay.
And it is. I'm just saying it should be watched because it is that bad.
Wow. All right, I will look it up.
All right.
Hard Ticket
I
to
also
Hawaii.
watched on Netflix. I also watched a new TV show, a Netflix show called Black Summer.
This is a zombie. This is basically a Walking Dead, right? It's
a zombie thing. It's shot in an interesting way because you follow different groups of characters who are interacting with each other but aren't always together. So you see scenes from different angles. So like there's like a one group stuck in a diner that has zombies around it. So you see the scene from their side, and then there's another group that's coming up on it, and you see like they go back in time and show the same scene from how they see it from outside the diner. So it's constant back and forth of like, how did we get to this spot? Where did this guy go? And like you see what they did while that guy was doing that.
Okay, is it good? Is it good?
It's actually, I'm enjoying it. It's actually done very well. The funny thing is, it's apparently set in the Z Nation.
Oh, really?
Universe, which they've said is set in the Z Nation universe at the start of the plague, but that Z Nation is like absolutely 100% parody of stuff, and this is 100% a serious zombie thing, and it's fast zombies as well.
Oh, you know what? I like The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. This past season was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of tired of the zombie stuff.
I would suggest checking this out even for an episode. The zombies in this become a more present threat because the zombies are fast zombies, and like they do not go down so easy. There's a one scene
Double
where like
tap to the head.
well, but this is the start of the zombie apocalypse, and so not everybody has like an arsenal of guns available to them immediately. So it's this group of people trying to get from one place to another, but they don't have guns.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You have a choice. Black Summer or Fear the Walking Dead? Which one do you go with?
I would probably go with Black Summer.
Really?
Yeah, it's because Fear the Walking Dead is just more of The Walking Dead.
But it's in that universe, right? If you're already committed to The Walking Dead,
yeah, that's part of the thing. If you're gonna, I mean, it's I don't know. I just find that Black Summer it does something a little differently because the zombies are not like there's a couple of times like they're in the diner scene. They're like, all right, what we're gonna do? There's only 2 of them out there. There's like 5 people. There's 5 of us. There's only 2 of them. We're gonna rush out there, distract them, and grab them, hold them down, and kill them. Well, these zombies are like strong. They feel no pain. They're fast, and the 5 of these people, they get their butts kicked by these 2 zombies, and they don't end up killing them.
Now I don't have to watch it.
Well, I'm just saying that's one of the scenes. There's more than one scene.
Listen. Oh, is there? Oh,
yeah.
This is a multiple scene series, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just this sense like in The Walking Dead, like if there's 1 or 2 zombies, it's no big deal. You just walk up and hit them. Whereas these zombies, because they don't go down so easy, like the whole concept of just hit them in the head doesn't work. Like you don't kill something by hitting it in the head. You actually have to damage the brain. And so like hitting it with a fire extinguisher in the head or a baseball bat or something like that, doesn't do enough damage to take this rage zombie out. So it's an interesting take on the zombie thing. It is worth checking out an episode at least, and it's only 8 episodes long.
Well, maybe we'll see. I'm still working through a bunch of other stuff right now.
Get it on the ground floor on at least one show, then you don't have to put catch up on it.
No.
Just do it, Sean.
Here's what I'd rather do.
All right.
So, last week we talked about, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, the new trailer for Star Wars. But the next day after we recorded, there was footage for the Mandalorian TV show.
Leaked footage.
There was leaked footage. So I was watching it live. I was watching the stream. And then Jon Favreau says, we've got some footage we'd like to show you. And he says, and for those of you streaming it, we're just going to go blank for a few minutes, but we'll be back. And of course, those live streaming didn't get to see the footage.
So basically, Jon Favreau basically just held up a middle finger to the camera and then they fade to black for a few minutes.
But here's the funny thing. When we got back after that 3 minutes...
yeah.
He actually says, oh, by the way, I was supposed to ask you not to film that. So basically, that was also his way of saying, I know you filmed it. I want you to get the footage out there, but I'm supposed to tell you not to.
Yeah.
So, of course, the footage is out there. I watched it. You and I watched it together, actually.
Yes.
And wow, does this ever feel like Star Wars?
It feels exactly what you would expect from what I would say is a space western, which is exactly what Star Wars is. But it feels exactly like Star Wars. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is something that's like half set in the Star Wars universe. The feel it has the feel of a Star Wars movie.
The look of it, the buildings, the tech, the characters. I mean, they've got stormtroopers, they've got bounty hunters, they've got like just everything about that 2-3 minute trailer of just and it wasn't just footage of the show, it was also talking to the directors, talking to people behind the scenes,
showing some of the special effects, like just explosions not in CG,
showing how they're using the practical effects, but everything about the footage they showed screamed Star Wars, like solid live action Star Wars, and it looked fantastic. I am excited for that. Like, wow, this is finally a TV show that's going to actually feel like a Star Wars film.
Yeah, I am very much looking forward to that. It looks really good, and that's soonish.
That is in November. It's going to launch with Disney Plus in November.
Yeah, so that's not too far off.
And you were asking on Sunday night as we're watching this, is this going to be like a binge watch? They're going to release it all at once like Netflix? And no, they're going to release it weekly, like an actual show. Right, which is smart, because that way Disney Plus doesn't get people paying for the subscription
and then dropping off. Yeah,
right. You're gonna sign on to watch the show, right? Basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, $6-7 a month, like that's
all right. They've at least made it reasonable. I mean, I would have done it. I would have signed up anyways for the Disney Plus just because of the sheer amount of Disney stuff and everything that they're putting into it. They're putting some good content in there, and we'll get use out of that.
And but is it launching in Canada? Have they said?
No, it'll be 2020 Canadian launch.
Okay. So I'm wondering if The Mandalorian might, like, is that going to be the only way to watch it? If you're not in the US, you can't watch it? Or will they have deals with actual television stations in Canada, for example, like CTV or Space?
Yeah, it may be that, or it may be available on as an iTunes purchase option as well. But probably something like we've seen with like the DC stuff. Has popped up on Netflix.
Exactly.
As a Canadian thing. So like Titans, and I think Doom Patrol is also coming to Netflix soon as well.
And well, speaking of DC Universe stuff, apparently the Swamp Thing, which is in production right now, they're shutting down early. So it was supposed to be a 13 episode series. They've cut it down to 10. So they're now in rewrites to end it after 10. The weird thing is they are now, they were told that this is because Warner Brothers is assessing the future of the DC Universe service. And like, didn't it just launch? Like, isn't it like you're looking at this
last September? Well, so we're not even just barely 6 months, right?
But I can understand this because now that Disney has come out and said, hey, we're launching in November. We've got all this content, Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, all this content, and it's only $7 a month. Everyone else is going, whoa, wait a minute, because DC Universe knows, what if they got up on Disney? You know, their shows, to be honest, are not all that spectacular. Right?
No, I mean, their shows are okay. The content that they're putting out is okay. But DC may be better to take this content that they're doing, stop funding it themselves for a subscription service that is not necessarily selling as well as they would have hoped,
right? And
sell their content to Netflix.
Yes, exactly.
You know, it's already showing on Netflix, so they're probably making some sort of a deal. It's like, we're not going to keep going with creating our own content necessarily. It's a loss. I don't think that they're going to be making enough money off of it and I don't think they have the initial capital, enough of initial capital that, like, Disney has all of Fox, which is what makes this streaming service extremely viable, is because not only do they have all their Disney stuff and Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff, but they have the entire Fox library they can add to this too.
That's right.
Whereas DC is like, well, we've made 2 or 3 shows.
Right. And and there's more coming. I mean, there's Stargirl is coming, sure.
Yeah.
But is that enough to get subscribers? I don't. So far, yes, I enjoyed Titans. It was a lot darker, a lot more, little too mature in my opinion. Doom Patrol is, I stopped watching. I just could not get through it. And then Swamp Thing looks interesting. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah.
You know, they have a trailer for it. It's a teaser, but he looks really good. Swamp Thing looks like you'd expect him to look.
I'm looking forward to this. I would like, because I've liked the Swamp Thing, for a while. Like
you're a horror fan.
I'm a horror fan, and like the whole gothic vibe to this. I'm interested in this. I think the problem that, again, DC does not connect their shows or their movies or anything in the proper way.
Right.
So when Disney announces all of these new Marvel shows set in the MCU,
that's what's exciting.
I watch this. I have to watch this because I need the full story. Whereas I could watch this, but I don't have to watch Stargirl. And I don't have to watch Titans and Doom Patrol set in a different universe and in the same universe, but it doesn't all. None of it connects.
Yeah.
So like you're not taking something like, hey, everybody loves this, connect it to this, so people have to also watch this to get the full story. That's what they've done with the CW shows.
Yeah.
Like they've connected them all, so you feel
the Arrowverse.
The Arrowverse, they've connected them enough, so if I watch Arrow and I really enjoy, I have to watch The Flash because that's set in the same thing. It may not have direct stories related, but it may occasionally, so I have to be involved with that, plus the Legends.
Well, they're always name dropping, right? They always mention character names, and sometimes they'll have a character come over. Like Sarah Lance was on the most recent episode of Arrow, because she's from DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Although I said to Dorothy, I said, it's funny. Whenever Sarah Lance is on the other shows, she's always in her white canary outfit.
Yeah.
that she never wears on her own show.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, and that episode was 100% a commercial for Birds of Prey.
Are they doing a Birds of Prey show?
I think they're doing a Birds of Prey show. There was even the whole thing. They made that comment at the end of the episode. It's like, oh yeah, like, you know, like we're a bunch of like lady birds of something.
Yeah, they did say Lady Birds of Justice. Birds of Justice. Yeah, but there's a Birds of Prey movie, so I doubt there's going to be a TV show.
Well, I think it was like, sort of not necessarily, but they're leading into like teasing towards that direction.
Maybe. I think the CW does it well. I don't think DC Universe does it well at all. But we'll see where DC Universe goes. I guess after Swamp Thing, who knows why they if they're looking at their service so soon, something's not right.
Yeah, that's like less than 6 months in, and I think that everybody has to start looking at that. Like, $18 for Netflix, like $15 for Hulu.
Yeah.
$7-8 for Disney Plus.
It's like your cable cutting isn't worth it anymore.
Yeah, Crave TV, like all of these things. Like, okay, like, yeah, I'm saving, you know, all this money by not having cable anymore.
But then you're spending it all on these streaming services,
and they fragmented everything so much that people are it's gonna be a problem, and people are gonna look, where am I gonna get the most content for the best value? Right now, that's Disney.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that is pretty much it for episode number 325. Chico, why don't you take us out again?
Okay, I will do that. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. You can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/OMG Nexus, including our new Flipping Tables. So check that out too. Like, subscribe, comment, follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour. And then Sean says stuff.
And of course, I am Ziantane everywhere. That is XIANTAYNE. And check out Survival of the Fixist on Kickstarter. You can get to that by fixistgame.com. I believe that will take you straight to Kickstarter. They're not quite halfway through. They're halfway through the campaign, but they haven't hit halfway through their goal yet. So give them some support. Fun game. It's not super expensive. Like $30 will get you the game Canadian, so it's a lot cheaper for you Americans. Definitely worth checking out. So that's it for episode 325. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks to Glenn and to Brian for joining us today. Did anyone else join us today? I think it was just the two of them that we can see. We'll be back again next week.
Bye, guys.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.